Most parents are living here in stress land. And their biggest mistake, expectation.
Imagine every child the same. An army of drones all acting and thinking the same. Your little one, not so special now, the same as everyone else. But isn't that exactly what our expectation is? Now we do want our child to be perfect, to be our number one, to be our special in our heart. But oftentimes we look at other people, we compare, and we want them to be just like them. So one of the biggest mistakes is expecting them to be anything other than themselves. So I've decided to showcase this by using a special tool that will help me bring people making the same mistakes right here in my living room. Let's get started. So let's summon the first stressed parent. He's super frustrated. All that shouting, yelling, and coercion of discipline is really taking a toll on him. But what about his child? This type of parenting is releasing massive amounts of cortisol on a daily basis. Now that's flooding the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, causing the person he cares about the most in the world to become the most anxious person in the world. So the biggest change he could make to cut out the stress is to stop parenting by coercion, punishment, shaming, threats, and so on, and start to parent through desire. This is where our child wants to do good, wants to do better, because no child is really born naughty. And this leads us to our next big mistake, parenting like grandpa. So it's time once again to summon our next parent. Parenting in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s looks a lot different than it does today. With the understanding of science and psychology and brain biology, we can even watch the brain think and see what happens when it gets stressed. But a lot of parents are still stuck in the 1960s because they simply don't know a better way. They're simply following what happened to them. Now, there's a wealth of information out there. Books, there's the internet, Google, Audible, TV, YouTube, or of course, you could always subscribe to me. Yeah, but I just don't have the time. By putting in a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, we can literally change our family tree. We can be the change in the family that changes those outdated parenting methods and makes our child the absolute best they can be. So now let's move to big mistake number 4. Now we've all done it. We got frustrated, we did something we shouldn't, and now we feel guilty. I'm a bad parent. But the great news, we can change right now. You see, it doesn't really matter too much what we did in the past. What matters is, are we going to change today? So not only should we change, but we need to change for the sake of our little ones. So think back to when you were a child. Our parents were our main caregiver, the people we went to for love, affection. But what if the main caregiver is also the main person responsible for causing stress and anxiety? At this point, the child doesn't know where to go for love or for stress. Even if you spend just half an hour a week studying like child development, for example, you could be the hero of your child's life. So watch this video next to understand what's exactly going on in your child's brain today.